through. We say, for our sake he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried. God goes all the way down to what it means to be human. But of course, he's not done when he dies, because if that were it, then that would be a failure on Jesus' part. Jesus, of course, can die in his human nature because he has a body like you and me, but he cannot die in his divine nature because God, divinity, cannot die. So instead, he rose again accordance with the scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. You see what's just happened. God was up here for a very long time. Humanity is down here. And between God and humanity, there's this imaginary line that humanity cannot get up to heaven, cannot access God completely. There's just like a glass barrier that we can't cross. We're stuck in our sinfulness. We're stuck in our sadness, and nothing can save us. But then what God does is breaks through that barrier and comes down into the reality of humanity and takes on our body just like ours, becomes like us, walks in the same way we walk, talks the same way that we talk. And he does what we do. He suffers and he dies. And what he does is he grabs all of us along the way, conquers that reality of death that he suffered, and he rises from that death and he ascends back to the Father. You see, this exit from heaven comes down to earth and a return back to heaven. That's what Jesus has done. And what he's allowed you and me to do is to go with him and ascend into heaven as well, so that we are not conquered by the reality of death and sinfulness and sadness, which has afflicted us for so long. This is the whole story of the Christian faith, that Jesus has enabled us to have a restored relationship with God that was broken, and now we can rise above that. And that way, Jesus enables us now to have a relationship with God through the Holy Spirit. After he ascends to heaven, he sends the Holy Spirit, who is now here to guide the church and is present in us, working through us to lead us to God while we're still struggling in this life. And that brings us, friends, to the topic for next week, the Holy Spirit. Next weekend, coincidentally, also is confirmation weekend here at the parish, where all of our confirmandi, those who are to be confirmed, will receive the gifts of the Holy Spirit into their hearts to enable them to now be sent out by God to boldly spend some time with the image of Jesus. Simply a good teacher or a good role model, anybody can do that. He is so much more because Jesus is God himself. And as he said himself, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except for you and to you.